Hi, this is Michael Rony Mullick, and you're watching the Week Ahead show. So, let us discuss what will happen in the next week, that is the third week of June. But before that, let us quickly go over the things that has happened in the past week in the markets. So let's do a quick roundup of the things that has happened. So, going by the charts, so Nifty, I'll put up the charts of Nifty 50 and see what has happened in the week. So the week started from 6th of June. So 6th of June, you can see that the market opened with a gap down and it sustained over there. And then we saw continuous sell-off in the markets. So overall, we saw a continuous downtrend, but on Thursday, that was the expiry day, the markets tried to move up a bit and there was a massive short covering in the market because of the Reliance Industries. It has shot up almost 3%, and that caused a huge short covering in the markets. Markets touched almost 16,500 on that day, but immediately the next day, the markets opened with a huge gap down of 200 points, and it could not recover at all. And so, on a close to close basis, the market on Friday it ended at 276 points negative and down by 1.68%. So overall, the week, how did it go for Nifty? So Nifty on a weekly basis, it is down by 2.3%, down by about 383 points. Bank Nifty, it is down by almost 791 points, which is almost 2.2%. IT index is down by 2.6%. So FIIs have sold for almost 12,700 crores and DIIs have bought for 9,600 crores. European market, US markets have all been down. They are more bearish than the Indian markets. They have closed about 5% down in the entire week. So that is the US markets and European markets. So we had two major decisions, which was the RBI policy decision happened. They decided to increase the interest rate by 50 basis point. So now it stands at 4.9 percentage. And then the next news was US inflation data on Friday, post market hours, Indian Standard Time. 6 o'clock, it was announced that the rate came at almost 8.6%, which is much higher than the expected rate of 8.3%. And that caused a huge sell off in the US markets. And that is why the SGX Nifty is showing a massive gap down tomorrow. So that is what the market is showing right now. And so some of the other important events of the last week was there was some good news on Indian production. So IIP data, Indian industrial production data, which came at 7.1%, which is an 8-month high. So that is something positive in the Indian market. Next, we see that the domestic steel manufacturing, they have decrease their prices by 5,000 rupees per ton, so which will make sure that the steel raw material will be much cheaper, which can help in controlling the inflation quite a bit. And then JP Morgan has said that the IT stocks will fall further. So that is there. Nirmala Sitharaman, the finance minister of India, has said in an event that the retail participation is becoming stronger in the markets, and it is the retailers who are supporting the markets from falling. Otherwise, we would have fallen like the US markets. And India is still not in the bear territory officially because of the retail participation. Every month, they are continuing to pump in money through SIPs and mutual funds. And that is what the markets are stabilizing because of these people. So that is something good. Japanese GDP data came at minus 0.5%. It was expected at minus 1%. So it is slightly better than the expectation. Reserve Bank of Australia, they have hiked their interest rates by 80 basis point and versus 60 basis point, but it did not have a much impact on the market because Australian market does not affect the global markets that much. European Central Bank, they finally chose to increase the interest rates, and they said from July onwards they will be increasing by 25 basis point. So that is ECB. Then on Russian front, the Russia has cut down the interest rate from 11%. Now it is down to 9%. So because they expect that the inflation has already peaked in Russia and it can only come down from here. And to put it into perspective, on 28th of February, when the US-Ukraine conflict started, the interest rate was increased to 20% in Russia. So that is something to keep in mind. And then we have the SGX Nifty. It is, let us look at the charts of SGX Nifty, and you will see it is ended at almost 16,048, which is indicating another 137 point gap down. India VIX is standing at around 19, I think. Let's see where it is. Yes, 19.57 is where India VIX is. US VIX stands at 6.37%. So this is what happened in the US markets. So if we look at the 5-minute chart to see where the US markets ended yesterday, you will see that this is the S&P 500 index. It is down by 2.9%, ending at the lowest point of the day. Nasdaq, same thing, down by 3.56%. It is again at the lowest point of the day. And Dow Jones also fell by 880 points. Negative 2.73% is what we see in the Dow Jones. So overall, very, very bearish is what we can see. So let us look at some other data. Talking about the Indian markets, SGX Nifty is already indicating a massive gap down. So talking about levels in the Indian market, let us see the levels. So the markets currently, it is showing a level of around, if I look at the OI data, let us pull up the charts of Nifty. So we see that for Nifty, the data is on the upside. 16,500 and 17,000 have the highest amount of call buildup, and on the lower side, we have 15,400 and 16,000 having the put buildup. So this is the range of Nifty for the next week, which you can expect. Coming to Bank Nifty, we see that 35,000 on the upside is having a massive amount of call writing, and on the lower side, we have 34,500 to be the support if the market falls. So that is where the good amount of put buildup have happened. So other than that, we see massive amounts of call writing. The PCR is indicating 0.63, and Nifty, the PCR is indicating 0.65. So overall, more amount of calls have been written than puts, which means the market are very, very bearish, and that is exactly where the markets will open tomorrow following the global cues. So this is the markets currently. So next week we have multiple events which are going to be announced, so it will be an event driven week. So to give you an idea about the events that we can expect next week, let us see the economic calendar. So for Monday, we have India related data. The Indian inflation data is going to be announced at 5:30 p.m. in the evening, and the expectation is around 7.3%. And so let us see what happens. Last time it came at 7.79%. This time people are expecting the inflation rate to decrease. So let us keep an eye on that. The effect of that will be felt on Tuesday. On Tuesday, we have again India-related data at 12 p.m. The wholesale price inflation data will be announced. So this is again India-specific news. But on Wednesday, we have a major data to be announced on 11:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and that is the US Fed interest rate decision. So that is going to be very, very interesting. People already expect a 50 basis point hike. It is indicating 1.5% at present. So this is, let us see, after the US inflation is at a record high of almost, you have seen 16,000, not 16,000, sorry, it is a 40-year high at 8.6%. So people are expecting the interest rate decision to be hiked more than this, maybe 100 basis point or by 1%. So if that indicates, or if that is coming true, then the markets can fall into a recession, which is again not a good thing for the markets. So let us see what happens, and so that will play a huge role in the market. going ahead. So this is these are the important events that you should be worrying about and keeping an eye on for the next week is what I suggest. So it's going to be an event driven week. So talking about levels of Nifty and Bank Nifty. So Nifty, we saw that 16,400 and 800 was the range for many days, but now since it has broken on the lower side, we can expect complete bearishness in the market. And if 16,000 is also broken, because it is acting as a major psychological support, and if that is broken, we can expect the market to fall to 15,700 levels, which was the low the market have made and reversed multiple times from there. So this is the situation of the markets currently. So everything looks bearish. So we can only turn bullish if the market breaks at least 16,400 to 500 level on the upside. Till that happens, we will not take any bullish bets on the market currently. Coming to Bank Nifty, similar picture, unless and until the 36,000 is broken on the upside, there is no reason to go bullish on Bank Nifty. So this is the current market situation. Talking about some the currency and commodities. So let us look at the data over there as well. So talking about currency and commodities, let us first look at the DXY, the dollar index, which is trading at 105. So that is not a good sign. So whenever the markets, the dollar index have shot up, it has indicated a crash in the equity markets. So that is there. USD INR is at a record weak. It is the weakest in its history at 78 rupee per dollar. So that is something absolutely negative. Again, a major negative news for the Indian rupee because of two things. One is the crude oil is rising, and since crude oil is rising, India is a crude importing country, so good amount of money is spent on importing the crude oil. That is why it is weakening. And if this is weakening, the overall, and the next reason is the FIIs are selling continuously. So since the foreign institutions are selling their stakes and taking away their money back to their countries, so that is also causing a good amount of pressure on Indian foreign reserves. That is also a reason why the USD INR is depreciating so much. So this is something you can keep an eye on. So 78 rupee per dollar. And so another impact is that we usually see that the IT index, IT stocks, they perform well when the rupee is depreciating because they get most of their payments in US dollars, and when they convert their currency to the Indian rupee, they are supposed to get more amount. But since this time it is slightly different because Nasdaq is falling. Nasdaq, we know it's an index heavyweight. The index heavyweights are the tech stocks. So since the tech stocks in US are getting sold off, that is why Nasdaq is down, and even the Indian IT stocks are also down despite the rupee weakening. So that is something interesting. And talking about the crude oil prices, if you look at, we were seeing it as it was almost $120. So crude oil, you can see this is the daily chart of crude oil. It is trading close to $120. So if this shoots up more, we can expect the markets to fall further. So again, on crude oil is trading higher, so that is again a negative impact for the markets. So overall things look quite bearish, and people have already taken huge amount of short position, and they will be enjoying a lot of profit when the markets open tomorrow with a gap down. And so for the short term, things look very bearish. Next week is an event driven week, so again you can choose to either stay away from the markets or stay on the short side. We will go long only when the market breaks 16,500 on the upside and tries to move ahead. Other than that, the things look bearish. Every rise is getting sold into, and that will be the trend for the coming days as well. So let us see how the Asian markets react with the US inflation data, because the US markets got sold off. So when the Asian markets open tomorrow morning, we will see how they are reacting to the Friday's closing of US markets, and then we will also see if the SGX Nifty recovers or it falls even further. And so tomorrow morning we will discuss the important levels to watch out for the day and how the markets are trading. All those will be discussed tomorrow morning's pre-market show at 8:30 a.m. in the morning. So until that time, have a good night. See you tomorrow.